Okay, as I mentioned in a previous video, I found Sunday Jess, her channel on YouTube, because I was curious to know about how the Mormon Church is perceived by the millennial generation, the millennials, and she calls herself Millennial Mormon, and so I subscribed to her for the one and only purpose to find out more about the Millennial Mormon viewpoint, to see how the de-evolution of Mormonism has occurred, and why millennials of all people are sticking with the church. So this has been a fun experience. I've passed on her makeup in the mission field stuff, but she has talked about scriptures, and here just recently I found one about her reaction to South Park, the episode all about Mormons. I have not seen it, but I've made sure to write it down, and I'm gonna go to Amazon and watch it there. But also I need to get the one, what is it called? It's season 4, episode 10. I can't remember the title of it, but it's the one where religious believers go to hell, and they're shocked. Why are we in hell? We were religious. And they're told, you chose wrong. The Mormon Church is the correct church. Mormons. So I've seen that scene, but I haven't seen the whole show. So I'm gonna go watch those two here pretty soon, before tonight, I guess. But I thought that this video that she did was interesting, because one, I'm jealous. She can put the little caption up here in her video and be able to still communicate like I am. I really want to know how to do that, and I don't know how. And so if I could, I'd have her caption right here of her caption in the video. And so you'll just have to hear it in the background as I go through it, because what I'm going to do is do a former Mormon reaction to South Park. Okay. Try to get behind the light here, but yeah, we gotta get more light. Lights, camera, action. And so okay, so let us begin.
Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. If it is your first time here, then go ahead and subscribe down below if you're interested in more.
Sweetie, you never hear me talking about subscribing and giving a thumbs up. I'm all about, hey, you're abusive if you're putting a thumbs down. I do not want promotions. I don't want subscribers. If you subscribe, great. Welcome to all the new people this past week. But I'm not doing this for that. I have no interest other than to warn Mormons about Mormonism and to get out as soon as they can. That is my whole point and purpose. I am communicating. This is not a media entertainment. I don't have the technology. She, as I see on the screen here, has an Apple laptop. I don't know if there's a special name for that, like a iPod or iLap or whatever. But so she's clearly a privileged white girl who's able to spend a lot of money on an Apple rather than the Windows. Of course, never mind. I won't talk about my game one, because I came into some money to be able to pay for this. But so anyway, yeah, that's my first reaction to her video right off the bat.
For my videos, and if you like this video, make sure you show me that and give it a like. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Jessie, and guessing by the title of this video and the channel, yes, I am a Mormon. So remember, don't try to tell me what I believe in the comments down below, or just don't leave any hate, because you're not going to change my beliefs, so just no need to...
No. Wrong reason for not wanting people to troll, cyber troll. You know, okay, so the main problem, and I talked about this with Samuel the Lamanite when he attacked me. It is not appropriate to agree to disagree, because as I've said to him, as I've said in the video about the incident with him, when you agree to disagree, you are agreeing to allow falsehood to spread rampant. And anything goes. Whatever you want to believe in, that's okay. No, it's not okay. Because when those people get into positions of power over others, they begin to do dumb things and take away rights to life, liberty, property, all because of their belief. And so, yeah, that's the bad thing about religion in the Mormon Church, is they use belief to justify all the horrors that go on in the Mormon Church. So, naughty, Jessie? Is that what she said her name was? Alright.
Spread around more hate. The internet just doesn't need any more of it. So, anyways, I thought this would be a really fun video to do. South Park, I literally know nothing about it.
Slow down. Grandpa can't keep up. She says in another video she's from Northern California. And so, she's not a Utah Mormon, I guess. But she probably met her husband at BYU. Who knows? I haven't gotten to that video yet. My goodness. I grew up in Southern California. I was born in Northern California, but raised in Southern California. And there was a few years in Michigan, but California was where I come from. And everybody else, and even Southern Californians, they referred to Southern California as SoCal. No, that's not what it was when we were there. It was Cali. Going back to Cali. So, this whole SoCal, no, we don't do no SoCal. We still considered us California, and Northern California had no thought in our minds. The division between North and South was already there, and we Southerners considered ourselves California, so we just called ourselves Cali. And so, yeah, we were slow to speak, and we were not so energetic. And I notice she's got a pinkish t-shirt, more peach, I guess. There's no collar, and the earrings, I guess, are what they are. I thought they might have been pink bananas, but I guess they're tassels. But she has her hair sort of like a preppy back in my day, but it seems modernized. So I guess she's the Millennial Mormon preppy girl. I'm not too sure about fashion. If you missed my video where I talked about how I would sneak into my sister's room to play with their Barbie fashion plates, because, you know, it was a taboo for men to like women as a little boy. And so, yeah, I ended up losing out on $100,000 a year starting pay in the fashion industry. So, so yeah. All right. Anyway, back to the movie, because this, I'm not sure how long this is. Let me check here. Oh, it's just 15 minutes. So, yeah, this might take me 3 hours.
You guys, I heard that this was like an episode that they did, like making fun of Mormons or just like talking about it. So I thought I'd check it out.
Making fun of Mormons, as a quote. Yeah, I have kids who I guess were Gen X, the period just before millennials. So, yeah, Emma was in 97, October 97. And so, yeah, I guess that's Gen X, isn't it? Or is 2000 Gen X? Oh, well, whatever.
And like tell you guys like my reaction and also just like my thoughts on what the media thinks that Mormons believe in and all that stuff. So anyways, I've never seen this before either, so we're just gonna give it a fresh view and give you guys my review. So
well, that's great. Millennial Mormons are not afraid to look at apostate literature. Because my generation was paranoid. Oh, we can't watch that. God makers? No, that's evil. Satanic. R-rated movies? No. South Park is TV mature. So, okay.
Let's go ahead and jump into the episode.
She's watching it from Comedy Central, apparently. That's what it's showing there on the screen. And I'll be going to Amazon to watch them. She's fast forwarding, I guess. And making a face there. So, yeah, I miss my daughters. And Clayton. She totally missed the scene where something was getting shoved up one of the characters' butt while he was laying down on the table. She completely missed that.
We have a new student joining us today who has just moved here from Utah. I want you all to say...
Oh, they said Utah. So she laughs. So that hasn't changed in Mormon behavior. That anything that is a joke about Mormonisms, they immediately laugh. So, yeah.
Hi to Gary.
Of course he's from Utah, but honestly his name is Gary, so that's like they could have gave him a weird Mormon name at least.
Yeah, like Travis.
Well, it's great you could join us for family home evenings, Dad.
What's that? That's when we don't allow any TV and just entertain each other with music and stories. Doesn't your family ever do that?
Okay, so family home evening, that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, family home evening is just like a week or a day, like, well, okay, an evening.
She's having a little struggle trying to explain family home evening. Let me explain to you what we did back in the old days when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Because it was not too long before my day when Noah lived. But yeah, seriously, I remember the one family home evening that we had when I was in Placentia, California. Southern California, Placentia, it's in Orange County. And we all sat around the kitchen table for family home evening. And my parents decided, oh, we're going to play Noah's Ark. And we all had to pretend to be an animal and crawl around under the table. That was our family home evening. Oh man, yeah. we we did nothing in the family, and both my parents were strict Mormons, both served missions, and so for her, she went on a mission. Common for young women nowadays to go on missions, and they even think they've been called of God to go on a mission and bypass marriage and pursue a career rather than get married. So yeah, there's major changes going on in the church, in the minds of the Mormons. And but back in my mom's day, rarely did women go, and so my mom went because there were no Mormon men of quality back then. And even my dad she didn't like because he was a Democrat from Idaho. So, but he was a returned missionary, and that was her deciding vote as to marry him. And out came me from that union. But yeah, the church has a family home evening manual. And so, yeah, the greatest secrets are hidden in manuals for the church because nobody bothers to open them up.
That the church has suggested that we get together and have literally like a family evening where we play games or do whatever, and so we just
literally whatever. It's post Valley Girl. That's exactly what it is. So cute.
Just like talk and get to like, you know, have just like a good family time, and so
family time? What's that, a threat?
That's funny they put that in here.
The Book of Mormon? What's that? You know, the book that Joseph Smith found. Who's Joseph Smith?
Okay, so Joseph Smith found the Book of Mormon, but he didn't write it, guys. So I'm excited to see like what they're gonna say about it. Oh.
She's right. Joseph Smith did not write the Book of Mormon. Sidney Rigdon did. She's Mormon-splaining. But yeah, this is how the church teaches. They don't reveal the evidence. They tell Mormons what they're supposed to believe in. They don't present the evidence. They tell Mormons what to believe in. And in our educational systems throughout this nation, we get taught whatever we're told, we have to regurgitate. And we are graded based upon our level of memorization of the material that we're forced to read and memorize.
Also, they've done analysis on the Book of Mormon and the different books that are in them.
Analysis? This ought to be interesting.
And they've proved that the actual books were written by 15 different authors because there's 15 different books in the Book of Mormon.
No. No. Sorry, sweetheart. I hate to break it to you, but those 15 different authors, and there's actually 36 that I've found myself, they're from other books during that time period. You've just found out that the church plagiarized the Book of Mormon. That's why there's different authors.
Their writing styles are so different, and so Joseph Smith actually couldn't have written the entire Book of Mormon himself.
The most important person in the world.
Not true. He's not the most important person in the world. That is Jesus Christ. For sure, we do not worship Joseph Smith.
See, now she's adopting the Christian religion, because what about Heavenly Father, sweetie? Heavenly Father, remember him? And then there was this Heavenly Mother that sort of kept secret but understood by all Mormons. What about them? Are they more important, or are they less important than Jesus? Oh, how do we pick? Who's more important than who?
Ever heard of him? No. Tell us the story of Joseph Smith again, Dad. Yes, Dad.
All right, you rascals, gather round.
Rascals? That's from the days of the Little Rascals. And so, yeah, here you see a patriarchal family where everybody looks to Dad for all the answers in the family. So just like in church, everybody looks to the bishop or to the stake president or higher up you go. And total chaos. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Joseph down in the early 1800s.
You got the date right.
Oh, the date's right. As if they'd get that wrong.
Dee-da-da-dee-da-dum. Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
She didn't catch that. She's moving to the beat. Joseph Smith was a Mormon prophet. Dum 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 dum. She missed it.
Started the Mormon religion. Dum-dum-dum-dum.
He didn't really start the Mormon religion. The Mormon religion isn't even like, that's the real name of our religion or our church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We legit only worship Jesus Christ, you guys.
She totally missed it. And is focused on starting the church. Yes, he started the church. He had to sign in the state of New York that he was organizing a church. He started it. His name is on the document. But it was not called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No. The evolution of the names were dependent on the members voting for it. At first it was the Church of Christ. Then it became the Church of Jesus Christ. Then it became the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints without the hyphen. Then it became the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with the hyphen. But that was voted on by the Mormons. It wasn't a change by the prophets. Unless, well, the hyphen I think was done by a prophet, but to change it to Latter-day Saints, that was the Mormons at that time who said, no, we want it the full name. So again, she's going by what the church tells her to believe. And so she's not giving accurate information. And then she's totally spaced. Dum 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 dum.
And Jesus Christ is the head of our church. And Joseph Smith.
Jesus Christ is the head of our church. I don't think she comprehends what that means. That means that Brigham Young, when he took away the priesthood from blacks and was thus a racist, that she then is saying Jesus Christ, the head of the church, told Brigham Young to be a racist. When Brigham Young started polygamy, she's now saying Jesus Christ told Brigham Young to start polygamy and be sexist against women. When Brigham Young put in the temple text that you have to kill yourself if you violate the temple covenants, she's saying Jesus Christ told Brigham Young to tell Mormons to kill themselves if they violate the covenants in the temple. Mormons, come on. See, no, in the beginning, when she said, you can't judge me for my beliefs, don't be a hater. It's not a hater to point out faults. It's a hater to hate somebody just because they're a Mormon. It's not hate to say, wait a minute, Brigham Young was a racist when he took away priesthood from the blacks and justified it with the Book of Mormon and saying that they have the mark of Cain on them. That's hate. That's not the same thing as criticizing the church. Big difference. And so, Mormons, you need to understand that. And when people say that certain things are not right, it is not an attack on you as a Mormon. It is an attack on the church for being wrong, for being inhumane, for being bigoted, racist, sexist, abusive, corrupt. A big difference. And you can't tell other people to back off, be silent, and allow the corruption and abuse to continue. Big difference. You need to understand that. And that's why I keep telling you guys over and over on my videos, Quit being abusive to me. I am pointing out the facts and the evidence. And so for you to attack me for the facts and the evidence is inappropriate. If you think that I am incorrect, that you don't believe that Brigham Young actually said those things in conference talks back when he was president of the church, then I'll gladly point you to which talk. But you can look for it yourself because there's Google. It's very simple for you to do now. Okay.
And so basically, you can check it out in my other videos. I've explained where the church came from and everything, but Jesus Christ had a church. It was lost once after Jesus Christ died, and all of his apostles too, and then it needed to be restored. So Joseph Smith was just a prophet, just like Noah or Moses or any other prophet in the Bible, who just restored the church of Jesus Christ. He didn't like make a new church or make a new religion. It's legit just the church and the teachings that Jesus Christ had when he was here on the earth.
So restoration is not the same as starting. Changing definitions. He started the church and called it a restoration. But she's Mormon-splaining based on the information the church is feeding her. And she's not going beyond that. If you've not paid attention to my other videos, I've gone over the history of the church. And I want to do a video series that's going to be hours long for each of the volumes that are going to be involved in it. Because there's tons of history of the church that is withheld from Mormons. Perfect case example right here with this Millennial Mormon.
Yeah.
She's got some cool moves.
Kooky Joseph Smith. You know he claims he spoke with God and Jesus.
Well, how do you know he didn't?
That was good.
No, it wasn't good. Did you hear in the background? Dum 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 dum. She's not getting it. No, that was not a good argument. You can't use that argument. But Mormons say, hey, that sounds like a great idea because then nobody can challenge us. No. 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 The burden is on Joseph Smith. It is not on others to prove that he no, it was not good. And she's just
Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Hey, Joseph, I told my wife that you spoke with God and Jesus, and she didn't believe it.
Well, it's true. I did. Where? I was out in the woods, praying. I was asking God if I...
See, she's nodding her head. She's going, yeah, the woods, the first vision that she learned on her mission to tell others about the church and Joseph Smith's first vision meeting God.
I should be a Protestant or a Catholic or what? And suddenly God and Jesus appeared before me.
Did you know, sweetie, that he joined the Methodist Church after seeing God and Jesus Christ, who told him not to join any of the churches? He was then excommunicated immediately because they found out he was looking into hats with stones in them.
And they said I should start my own church because...
You should not start your own church. That was not what they said. They said that the Church of Jesus Christ needed to be restored. Restore just basically means to take something and like restore it to its original form. To take the church and restore it back to how Jesus Christ had it when he was on the earth. So,
but where did Jesus get it? Jesus was restoring the Jewish church. Where did they get it from? Egyptian. Not reading your Book of Mormon. And again, she's going off on the definitions between starting his own church and restored church. Distraction. Mormons don't distract. Stay on point. Stay on target. Stay on target. Star Trek Empire Strikes Back. Well, no, it was Luke Skywalker in the first one, where he's going to shoot into the Death Star. Stay on target. Okay. So, yeah. Because she had no clue about the real church history of Joseph Smith joining the Methodist Church after this supposed first vision, she doesn't know anything about it, and she's just going, yeah, okay, yeah, the history of the church said something like that.
Joseph Smith didn't start a new religion. He just restored Jesus Christ Church. He's just another prophet.
No, he didn't restore Jesus Christ Church. What was Jesus Christ Church? It's not the same.
I am Moroni. I am a Native American.
She missed that part too, because the church has kept that hidden from Mormons. When Joseph Smith died, all of Joseph Smith's history was altered. That's why they're doing the Joseph Smith papers, because somebody altered his record. And so only rich people can now buy the Joseph Smith papers volumes. And that's elevated the guys who are in charge of it. Joel Skousen, I think is his name. So he also got a boost from his dad, Cleon Skousen. I'm sorry, the nickname has been attached because of his far-out space doctrine. Yeah, Mormons have been elevated in the church because they get assigned to specific tasks that have a big impact on the church. Yet, I was told when I was in such a position myself, don't tell anybody what you're doing, not even your mother. And so, yeah, I was obedient and didn't tell anybody until now. But it's too late now. I'm not going to be elevated to prominence in the church now. And so, yeah, I remained in a low stature situation because I kept it all a secret, as they wanted me to do with the non-disclosure agreement. Yeah, the main thing here with Moroni, Joseph never called him Moroni. All the time, throughout all his writings about that experience, even though it changed, it was always Nephi. She doesn't know this. So she just goes, oh yeah, that's what the church tells me, and so therefore that's who it is. She doesn't know. She doesn't have a clue that it's something else. We're only 5 minutes into her video, with 10 minutes more to go, and we're already at 30. And I went and clicked the wrong button, and so I stopped the video. Alright, so we're back, and we're back with hers.
A Native American? But your skin is white.
Yes, long ago all Native Americans were white. We all came to America from Jerusalem. And while we were here, we were visited by Christ.
So she's clueless about the white supremacy that they're portraying in this. That's not quite accurate on South Park's part, but if you understood the mindset of people in the early 1800s, they were anti-black, they were anti-Indian, and here comes a book that says, hey, these Indians used to come from Jerusalem, and of course white. How do you think that's going to go over well with the people of that time? They're not going to like it. And sure enough, they didn't. And so the Book of Mormon was an attempt to change people's view towards blacks and Native Indians. And they didn't do a very good job with it, because we still had to have the civil rights, and there's a news report out. In the previous video I explained why I cough so much. And a news report the other day about teens wearing MAGA hats verbally abusing a Native American. So, dum 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 dum.
Jesus, here in
that Jesus lived in America. We believe that he came to the American continent, though, after his resurrection. He came and visited the people that were here, because there was people on the American continent, and that's where we believe the Book of Mormon came from. It's the ancient writings from the people who lived here on the American continent. So we use the Bible and the Book of Mormon, guys. They just complement each other. And but yeah.
Complement each other. Yeah. It's called plagiarism. The Book of Mormon plagiarized the words of Isaiah and the Sermon on the Mount. Just took it from the 1769 version. Errors and all.
So they got the Angel Moroni guy right. He wasn't Native American.
No, they didn't get the Angel Moroni right. It was Nephi.
There is an ancient book buried near here, written on gold plates that account my people's lives. Also buried with the book are 2 seer stones, the Urim and Thummim, which will allow you to translate the writings, find it, and fulfill your destiny.
See, my mom was this way. See, when I would talk to my mom about factual information, she would respond by saying, "That sounds right." What? What are you talking about, Mom? What do you mean that sounds right? That's fact. That was kind of cool. He like vaporized into a little what are those glow bugs in the East Coast? I can't remember what they're called now. Lightning bugs. And then disappeared rather than a pillar of light. So that was cool.
That was like a paraphrase of her.
Dum 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 dum. She's not getting it yet. Dum 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 is all throughout this, and she's not catching on.
Of what Moroni said to him, but I mean, they got the gist.
Dad, how come you never told me about Joseph Smith?
Who?
Shut, turn, watch your friends! The guy who spoke to God and Jesus.
Well, Stan, God and Jesus don't actually speak to people.
That's not what the Harrison said.
Who are they?
God and Jesus have spoken to people a ton. Just read the Bible.
Okay, sweetie. Jews and Christians interpret their Bible, their scriptures differently than Mormons do of their scriptures. You can't use Mormon argument to tell other people that they're wrong about their interpretation. You've got to go into their mindset, into their interpretation, and identify errors within their interpretation. That's why I focus on Mormons, because more attention is given to the Mormons. But if I were to be speaking to Jews as my target audience, I would be fully in the mindset of the Jewish thought. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be using Mormon scripture to talk to the Jews. I wouldn't be using the New Testament to talk to the Jews. I would be using the Torah. I could supplement it with the Tanakh, but I would focus on the Torah if the Jews were my target audience. So, again, she doesn't understand this concept, even though she served a LDS mission.
Why can't it happen in 1800 to Joseph Smith? I mean, it happened to tons of people in the past, too, so, I mean...
Yeah.
They're not cool.
Everybody's doing it. Why not Joseph?
They're cool. I mean, how come we never have a night where we don't watch any TV and we just do stuff together and eat and drink?
We have that, Stan. It's called Friday Night Kegger.
She didn't catch that. Eat and drink. Eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we die. From the Book of Mormon. She missed it.
But that's just you and your friends. Hey, shut up, turn! Mr. Harrison said that I need to be following Heavenly Father's plan, and I don't even...
Oh, that must be Amazon. Hold on. Alrighty, I'm back. Let's see what other adventures we got.
You know what that is?
All right, that does it.
Oh, can it
Where are you going? Randy, don't cause trouble.
Let me handle this, Sharon. You gotta put these cult people in their place or else they never stop.
Okay, we are not a cult. Look at the definition of a cult. They follow a person. We don't follow any religion would be considered a cult. We all follow a person. We follow Jesus Christ. So, I mean, we're no different than any other church in that sense. We're not a cult.
All right, sweetie. Let's look up what the definition of the cult is, shall we? Alrighty, and it's going slow with all the programs being used on it. A system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. Huh. So, I guess Christians. Because Jesus is a figure, and they're a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward Jesus. I guess Christianity is a cult too. Huh. Oh, wait. There's other definitions. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. Oh, I see. Your religion. So the cult, in its original meaning, is just a religion. That's it. A cult, with the OC added before cult, then becomes this other definition, regarded as strange or sinister. And that's what they're referring to with Satan worshiping cults. No, Satan worshiping cults are a cult, because they deal with magical spells and rituals that involve murder and other sorts of things, depending on which group. And then if you talk to a Satanist, they say, oh no, we don't do that. But you guys did, and we don't trust you now, even though you're telling us what you want us to believe. And so, yeah, what people mean by cult is this third definition, a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. And so what people mean by that, sweetie, is that other people don't believe that the church is true. That's all it is. And so they're just using the abusive slang for a religion they disagree with. So they're being abusive when people just yell out cult for a religion they don't believe in. So that's what you're doing, even though you don't use the word cult for Christianity.
I love when people call it a cult, because it's like, then that would make all religions cults. Yeah. We literally just follow Jesus Christ. We don't follow Joseph Smith. We don't worship him.
So I went out.
But Jesus Christ is a cult leader.
To the woods. I dug around all morning where the angel had told me to look. Maybe there isn't.
He didn't have to dig around all morning, guys. The angel directed him where he should go. He saw it in his dream the night before.
Anything out here? Wait a tick. What's this?
Little tick.
Wow. Inside the stone box, I found the magical seer stones. Under that, I found 4 gold plates written in strange writing.
She totally spaced the seer stones. She's not talking about them. Why not? She didn't recognize that they drew the exact replicas that the church has. They're only revealing the one in their church history museum, not the other one that they showed here in this video. Exact replica. So hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. One other thing that I need to point out before we get back into it is she didn't catch this either. They call it the gold plates. It's golden plates, which could include copper plates, which just happened to coincide with the farm that the Smith family moved to from Palmyra that had a coppersmith shop in the backyard. Yeah, little detail the church is sort of hidden from the members. Another detail. And yeah, Oliver Cowdery was expert on taking manuscript writing and transferring them onto the copper plates to present to the print press for publication. Little minor detail. Okay.
This must be the gospel that Jesus told the Nephites. Well, they were the most amazing things I had ever gazed upon.
Wolf, so where are they?
Yeah.
Where or what?
The gold plates and the seer stones Where are they?
Oh, well, I was not allowed to take them. You see, after I found the plates, the angel Moroni appeared to me again and said that I am not allowed to show the plates or the seer stones to anybody, because first I must translate what's written on the plates into English.
Everybody knew he had the seer stones. That's what he was famous for. He was treasure hunting with the seer stones. He was finding people's lost items with the seer stones. People would come to him, I lost my belt buckle, or can you help me find my dog, or whatever. And he would use the seer stones to help look for them. He never could find any treasure when he worked with the two different companies and with his father, which I found through my independent study.
So you can all read it.
Dum 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 dum.
Dum, dum, dum. She still misses it.
He found the stones and golden plates. Dum 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 dum. Even though nobody else ever saw.
You've got to watch the video. I'm going to put down to remember to go to her link and put link on video. Okay, so I'll remember so you can see for yourself and know that it is true. Her facial expression is priceless.
Okay, that's not true. Other people saw them. Actually, if you guys get a copy of the Book of Mormon, which actually there's a link down below in my description box, if you want a free Book of Mormon, you can have it delivered directly to your...
No, sweetie. Not the Book of Mormon. The plates. The plates is what they're referring to. They don't exist.
Door for free. But anyways, in the Book of Mormon, in the first 2 pages of the introduction, there's the testimony of the 3 witnesses and testimony of the 8 witnesses. So a total of 11 people actually saw the golden plates, and they wrote down their testimony to prove that, yeah, we actually saw these things, they really exist, and here's our names to go with it. So more than just Joseph Smith saw the golden
Dear, they were all the buddies that were in on it.
plates. Okay, and also people were really trying to steal the gold plates too from Joseph Smith and threatening to kill him and steal them. So yeah, there was a reason he didn't just show them to everybody. Also, the Urim.
Why is that funny? It's not funny. People wanting to kill him is not funny. Don't laugh that off. He was tarred and feathered. The kids were screaming because guys burst into his home, ripped him out of his home, took him to the streets and tarred and feathered him. Other women had to come over to help pluck off the feathers and to take off the tar. That's not a good thing in our American history. That's not something to laugh about. So, yes, Joseph Smith was going around telling everybody about this, and he had no plates. That's why nobody could find them. They were keeping secret the copper plates for the print press.
Thummim, or the seer stones that they're talking about in this, were also mentioned in the Bible. They just aren't mentioned what exactly they're for. But if you go back to the sons of Aaron,
dear, go to Exodus. They explain exactly what they're for.
Talks about them in the Bible as well. So
Sharon, did you know this guy Joseph Smith found a New Testament to the Bible buried here in America?
What are you talking about?
Well, it's just that the Harrisons are really nice people, and you should see how loving and together their family is.
Yeah, she loves this part. You should see her facial expressions. I'll remember to put the link so you can watch her, and yeah, it's cute, but she's not being informed by the church correctly.
I think there's something to that religion.
That's what they made me think too.
No, right, that doesn't. From now on, our family is Mormon. Well,
Oh, thumbs up for that.
you remember Martin Harris, the rich man who wrote down what Joseph Smith read out of the hat?
Yeah?
See, after he was done, he...
Millennials, you're clueless, aren't you? Because you were born during the time that the church brought out the gospel topic essays and confessed, yeah, he looked in a hat. In my generation, that was blasphemy. We would go around telling other people, you lie! We don't believe you! You're evil! That was my generation when we were telling people about this. But her generation, the millennial generation, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. So?
Took some of the pages of what would become the Book of Mormon home. Martin went home to his wife. Dum 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 dum.
Dum dum dum. She's not getting it.
Mormon. Dum 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 dum. And so Joseph Smith put his head into a hat and read to me what the golden plate said. I wrote it all down, and we're going to publish it into a book.
Martin, how do you know he isn't just making stuff up and pretending he's translating off golden plates?
Lucy Harris, smart, 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 smart. Why would he make it up? Martin Harris, dum dum.
All right, Hugh. I'm gonna hide these papers.
She doesn't get it. These guys are completely mocking the whole thing. Dum 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 dum. But again, this is another part of Mormon tradition of lies. No, this never happened between Martin Harris and his wife. That's the cover story, to blame the woman for the cause. No. If you understand the relationship between the Smith family and Freemasonry, then you'll understand what happened, because Martin Harris was the leader of his neighborhood for the anti-Mason movement. The Smith family were Masons. Now there's more detail involved, and I want to get to the history of the church on this, but understand, Mormons have not been properly informed. And so the sexism of the church is exposed by blaming the woman for the loss of the 116 pages. It was Martin Harris, because he was a part of the anti-Masons, which means the Smiths had to tone it down in the book. It was too Masonic. That's the cause of why they disappeared.
If Joseph Smith really is translating off of golden plates, then he'll be able to do it again. But if Joseph Smith is making it all up, then the new translations will be different from these.
Okay, fine. I bet I'll have no problem. Lucy Harris, smart, smart, smart. Martin Harris, dumb. So Martin wins.
She still doesn't get it. They outright said it. There was no longer a background joke. They came out and said, Martin Harris, dumb. And she still is glued to it. It's not fazing her. It's so cute. It's like my little daughter Melissa when she was 2 years old.
Gone back to Smith's and the pages had gone away. Smith got mad and told Martin he'd need...
Okay, so they pretty much got the story wrong here. They were good until this point, but what actually happened is Martin Harris wanted to show his wife and his family some of the translated pages so he could prove to them, like, this is what they were doing, because they were kind of upset that he was spending all his time, and they didn't really know on what. So Martin went to Joseph and asked him if he could bring some of these pages home to his family, and so Joseph went and asked God, and God told him no. And then once again, Martin asked Joseph, well, can you ask again? And God said no. Well, Martin kept bugging him, and because his family kept bugging him as well. And so Joseph asked God the third time, and God said, okay, you can show only a select people these translated pages, which was Martin's wife and his family. So Martin took the pages and showed them to his wife and his family, but then he also ended up showing them to some other people, and then they were eventually lost as well. Then a few weeks went by, and Martin Harris didn't return because he was so upset that he had lost the pages. And Joseph had received a vision that actually the pages had been stolen by some really bad people. Once again, they were trying to steal the plates and things like that. And they ended up changing the translation that Joseph had already done, so that way...
What? They changed it? I want to see that document, sweetie. Where's the changes to the 116 pages? How do you know? I want to see. Oh, you don't have the evidence. You made that all up. Oops.
Then if if Joseph translated that section again, they could be like, oh, it's wrong, and technically prove that Joseph was incorrect with his translating. So what ended up happening is God actually told Joseph, don't even translate that stuff again, because an abridged version has actually been made in the next book.
Yes, he is so mad that he will never let me translate from the plate of Lehi again.
Sure.
He said we must now translate from the plate of Nephi. So it will be the same basic story, but written a little differently.
She's using her middle finger to push the buttons on her laptop. Interesting. Is that how millennials text too?
Wow.
So what happened, the Book of Mormon is just like the Bible, how the Bible has different books from different prophets in the ancient times. The Book of Mormon, same thing, it's written by different ancient prophets. So the books, the names of these individual books inside the Book of Mormon have names like Nephi and Moroni and things like that.
Yeah. Names like from the Bible, the Apocrypha, Nephi, Second Maccabees, 136, is it? I'd have to check again, but yeah. Second Maccabees, the Apocrypha, which the church failed to put in their official canon of Scripture. And yeah, Moroni, a guy named Charles Anthon of New York. Martin Harris went to him to show him the copies from the plates, supposedly, to try to see if he can confirm that Joseph's plates were real, because he wasn't allowed to see them, even though he's on the list of witnesses. He was never seeing them. And funny thing is, Charles Anthon came out with a book of a dictionary of names right during that time frame that they were writing the book. Interesting.
And so Lehi was actually Nephi's dad, and Lehi wrote down stuff first, and then Nephi wrote down actually an abridged version of what his dad wrote. So that is why what Joseph Smith ended up translating was legit just the same. So that's why God's like, don't bother translating anymore, because that's not even really needed. So there you go.
Wait.
Sweetie, do I have to Mormon-splain the Mormon-splain you just attempted to try to do? No. The 116 pages were later claimed to be the Book of Lehi. What Joseph Smith did was start off talking about from his father's book. It was still in his own record, but then he went and did his own work. And so, yeah, there was the initial stuff before Joseph was supposedly born. And Mormons don't get this. I was the only one who figured it out. And Mormons are like calling me evil because I'm saying that Joseph Smith wasn't born until Lehi left Jerusalem. Lehi left Jerusalem without Nephi being born yet. He was born at the top of the Red Sea, according to the story. Because then, read it. He leaves with his family, and they list the members of the family who left, and Nephi is not one of them. Nephi is first mentioned as well, he says it in the first part that he was large of stature. No, it was after Lehi dwelt in the tent, then it goes into Nephi talking about him being involved in all this now. So, man, I can't believe the basic stuff, Mormons. Know your Book of Mormon. I mean, there's a chart that you can find. You can Google pictures, and there's the explanation of the plates picture. I don't know if I should put that as the the cover photo, because that doesn't really apply. I don't know what I'll do. But Mormons.
Mormons actually know this story, and they still believe Joseph Smith was a prophet?
Well, sure. The story proves it, doesn't it?
No, it proves he did make it all up. Are you blind?
Well, Dad.
Because that's not the real story.
Oh, Yeah, you're right. It's not the real story. That's a cute look. I should use that as the cover photo. She's clicked onto a different scene, and she's all serious now. She's got her eyes wide, and her lips are...
Hey, Stan.
Now you're just staring at us. What's going on?
Listen, I just wanted to let you know you don't have to worry about me trying to be your friend anymore.
Oh,
You know?
my friend.
Look, maybe us Mormons do believe in crazy stories that make absolutely no sense. And maybe Joseph Smith did make it all up.
Yeah.
But I have a great life and a great family. And I have the Book of Mormon to thank for them.
It's all about
The truth
family.
is, I don't care if Joseph Smith made it all up.
She's agreeing to
because
this?
what the church teaches now is loving your family, being nice, and helping people. And even though people at this town might think that's stupid, I still choose to believe in it. All I ever did was try.
She's not stopping to interrupt and say, no, it's all about the Book of Mormon being true. That's what it's all about. No, she's accepting his doctrine here. The South Park Mormon, she's accepting whatever he's saying. No, don't do that. That's a trap. South Park is setting you up for a trap. No, it doesn't matter. Satanists could have great friendships with people, and they could be great helpers in the community, giving charity and stuff, but they're still Satan worshipers. Racists, they may be your best buddy going bowling or whatever, but they're still racist. And white supremacists. No, don't fall for that trap.
Be your friend, Stan. But you're so high-mighty you couldn't look past my religion and just be my friend back.
Okay, so that was the end of the episode. So, I mean, you kind of heard my thoughts. They were, like, actually pretty, like, they were a lot closer than I actually thought they would be. They just, like, totally changed the ending of the Joseph Smith story to, yeah, make it sound unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, like I said, you guys, and actually, like they said in the episode, you know, you don't have to believe my religion, but at the same time, I have a testimony that I know it's true. And...
No. What? No. I thought your beliefs. You said beliefs. Now it's no. What? What's going on? What happened? Where's the change?
You can also find out for yourself if it's true or not. And
I have that video. Mormons can know the truth for themselves that the Book of Mormon is true. I can't remember the exact title, but yeah. And so I explain this exact concept and in several other ways on other videos too. So Mormons, belief is not knowledge. It's not truth. Knowledge is truth. Belief is opinion. You don't know if all you have is your beliefs. You have to turn your beliefs into truth, and you don't do it by claiming it. You have to replicate it. If the Book of Mormon is true, then you've got to find out who are the 15 different authors that apologists are claiming, and if they're from other source texts at Joseph Smith's day, like Charles Anthon's Dictionary of Names, or the King James Version, 1769.
And like I said, you can get a free Book of Mormon sent to you down below with the link I have. And then also, what we honestly tell people is that you can actually pray and ask God if it's true. I mean, who better to tell you than God himself? So, yeah, the story was pretty close, but there was some...
On my mission in New York, we came across a young lady, gave her a Book of Mormon, said, we'll come back next week and check up on you, see how your reading's doing. And we came back the next week. She was with her girlfriends, and so we interrupted her with her girlfriends there, so pressure's on, and said, oh, have you read the Book of Mormon? Yeah, I read it. Well, what'd you think about it? God told me it wasn't true. She was hilarious. I laughed. My companion, I believe it was Elder Augustine took over the conversation. I didn't get to talk at all on this. And it's like the Mormons believe that if you get a wrong answer, you did it wrong. That's their only logical explanation to explain why you didn't get the right answer. It doesn't occur to Mormons that the process that you think it comes from Moroni 10, 3-5 is actually misinterpreted by you guys. Get out your grammar comprehension books. You left out some words. Get out an actual dictionary, sweetie. Because a lot of Mormons mess up on definitions from those missing words as well. You know, she's around my daughter's age. I don't even know if my youngest daughter is married. I know that my oldest daughter now has at least 2 kids that I know of. But you know, I'm not bashing her. I hope you guys understand this. It is the church who has done this to her. The church is suppressing information. The church is covering up evidence. And they're telling lies about the history of the church. And as a result, you have the rising generation of millennials who are misinformed and are going around spreading that misinformation to other people. And when guys like me say, wait a minute, no Mormons, that's not right, Mormons attack me instead of going to the church and saying, hey, wait, what's going on here? Because the church won't allow you to go to them anymore. You have to go to your stake president. The prophets will not answer any questions from Mormons anymore. It's all diverted to stake presidents to handle. And stake presidents don't know the answer. They know how to brush you off and say, hey, it sounds like you don't have faith in the church. Are you going to betray the church? And we're going to have to excommunicate you. And so you get threatened if you have questions about the church. And so even though the church leaders, Uchtdorf, for example, has said it's okay to have questions, you just can't question. Yes, we can question. If there's a blatant error and missing information, you better believe we're going to question and criticize. So, yeah, this is, you know, I'm not making fun of her. She's a sweet kid. I'm kind of interested in what her viewpoint is as a Millennial Mormon. But as you can tell, it's a sad state of affairs in the church, because Mormonism is collapsing. And listening to her with just this one video that I'm going over with you, and it looks like I'm getting to an hour long now. So is anybody still listening? Or did you just go to her video to hear what she has to say? If you are still listening, like and subscribe. No, I'm not asking you to do that. Oh, man. So, she has some more time here. Should we just play it out for you, or do you just want to hear it from the video? I think I've talked about enough of what she said. So, yeah. She's got adorable, big, it looks like brown eyes. And reminds me of my daughters. So yeah, I have a tender spot here for her. But yeah, my own kids are raised by the demon spawn, and not by me. So yeah, I missed out on raising my own kids, getting to know them, getting to teach them truth and how to identify truth versus just regurgitating and believing whatever anybody else tells them to believe. So that's the sad state of affairs that the church is in right now. And my own kids have fallen to the dark side by being prisoners. All right, so yeah, this is a long one, and I hope I'm able to help emphasize things for you. And her video didn't get banned and blocked, so I'm pretty sure my video of this won't get banned and blocked for having segments of South Park in it. Maybe South Park is okay with other people doing parts of it. So hopefully you'll get to see this video and there won't be any problems, and there shouldn't be, because I'm commenting on the video. So maybe she will block my video. But again, I hope you understand the trap she set for us in the beginning and reminded us of at the end. That we can't challenge her beliefs. Yes, we can. If we have knowledge of errors in their beliefs, we can challenge them. We can criticize it. We can question it. And say, hey, yeah, but these are the facts. It was Nephi, not Moroni. He did have 2 stones. The church still has them, and one of them is on display in the church. The other one, you can find Google. They have the picture on Google. Both of them, actually. So they didn't. And South Park didn't have the other stone. That was an inaccurate representation of the second stone. But yeah, miss my kids.